I believe the project gets two major moments of attention. The first one is when it's initially announced, and the second one is when it's finally released. And people tend to care about stuff towards the end. They want to know, like, hey, is it good? Is it bad? But they don't really pay attention to what happens in between. They don't care about people's creative process. And I feel like it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. And I actually believe that it's one of the most interesting things about a project, because we get to see a different side of someone that worked on it. We see their struggles, we see their ambitions, their interests, all these things that influence their decisions on whatever they're working on. And I believe that this also defines who they are. This makes us know someone at a specific time in their lives working on something. And I wanted to explore this, not just in myself, but with other people as well.
My name's Agasha Mutesasira, and I'm from Uganda. And I lived in Vancouver for 6 years. I came here for university, so I studied hospitality management. And right now I work with a nonprofit organization that supports people with disabilities. And then I'm a singer, an emerging R&B and soul singer. Yeah, so that's me. I would say art means like an expression of passion, and can be expressed in many ways. For example, myself, the way I express my art is through singing, but I believe it can be expressed in all manner of ways, whether it's dancing, drawing. However, I think it's mainly just an expression of passion and emotion. So that's what I think art is.
So loud. Why do I feel I wanna run? Why am I scared to be seen undone?
I would say my inspiration, like first off, my dad plays guitar, so there would always be music in the house in some way. But in terms of artists, I listen to a lot of Beyonce, a lot of Alicia Keys, and yeah, there are other artists, emerging artists back home that also inspired me to start doing music a lot more seriously. But I'd say my main inspirations are probably Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Daniel Caesar. Yeah, I'm very big.
Okay. I'm Raymond Knight. I am a filmmaker, director, cinematographer, everything. And I'm also co-founder of Verra Creaative, which is a video production company.
And I'm Shawn Wagar. I'm also a co-creator of Verra Creaative and cinematographer, director, visual effects artist, motion graphics artist. We both wear a lot of hats. We're just listing a few things.
He makes a great martini as well.
Yeah, really good.
That was a joke. Okay.
I personally started from like a really early age. It was one day my family came home with a video camera, and I had never even thought about using one or even knew how to use one. As soon as I had that thing in my hand and I was using it, that was it. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do, is just film and edit and put together stories and make visual experiences and take people along for a ride, like a storytelling ride. So since then, I was basically hooked, and I went to college and university studying fine arts and focusing on multimedia, and been working in the industry ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like most people, like, you watch films when you're younger and you're just so wrapped up in them, right? You think they're real and the imagination, and you get a lot of feelings and you learn a lot of things from movies like when you're younger. And so yeah, I had the same experience just watching films and just being like, wow, like Jurassic Park was like my favorite film when it came out, right? And I remember just like, oh, if I could make a movie like that or do something like that would be the most amazing career, right? Just to do something that's like a joy for other people, you know, like as a job, like you're not sitting there crunching. I mean, well, we crunch a lot of numbers, but you know, yeah. And then just watching behind the scenes for movies, I think was huge for me, you know, and it was pretty limited back in the day. So you'd have to get like a bonus features on a DVD or something like that. And then you kind of see how the movies were made. And I just thought that was so cool. Like just seeing Star Wars and seeing how there was all these models and stuff they were using. And so, yeah, I remember just going into our backyard and tying fishing wire to like our Star Wars toys and then trying to like film it with our little handy cam and, you know, and just trying to make it look like the movies, right? And just being like, how do I get it like that? Like, how do I make it look like that? Like they're doing the same thing as me, but obviously I don't have the right camera or something, right? So like, you were kind of talking about how, you know, people only see the final product and they don't really see like all the process that goes into it. And I think that for that reason, your process is actually like really, really important because it's your time on the project, it's your enjoyment, right? The longer you sit here and talk about it and come up with ideas and references and you know, test shoot stuff, and the more you get to like enjoy what you're doing, because when it's done, it's kind of like you put it out there, but you know, creating it and imagining it is like the funnest part, right? So for me, like I actually, the more I get into this, the more I want to like expand that creative process more and more, and I try to separate it. You know, everyone talks about creativity. Oh, well, let's get together and be creative. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, does that mean we're all going to sit around and just like talk, you know, and nothing's going to happen? Or are we just making stuff, you know, with no direction, right? So I believe that creativity is actually a combination of imagination and production. So imagination is like, what are we going to do? How could we do this? Like what's it going to look like in the end? Like imagining and then producing, right? Which is like the act of completing it, right? Because I don't think creativity can just be you being imaginative and talking about things. I think you need to produce things.
I'd say like the technical process of it has evolved, like from the songs I have out already. Those like the beats were sent to me by a producer and I wrote them, but I have other songs where I start off like really from scratch with just the guitar and I come up with the melody and then I write the songs. I write songs to them, and right now just in the process of finding people who can help me bring those more to life. But I think part of also the creating process is a mental part, is just, you know, trusting the process and not getting overwhelmed by all the stuff that it takes to get it to be there. So also that trusting process of yourself and not trying not to compare yourself to other people, just, you know, focusing on the end goal. So I feel like that's all of what goes through the process of me creating music at this point.
Yeah, for me, like the actual like joy of creation is, you know, bringing people together to work on something and be creative. And it's like an exercise. Before you go out and you plan a shoot and you know, pre-plan everything and then figure out what it's like to work together, it's good just to do the work. It's just good to like go out there, roll some cameras, go have some fun, don't even really have a purpose in mind, just like get that out of your system and then go have some fun and put together something later. And you know, that in itself is like an exercise. And that's kind of like how we first started doing things, just went and had some fun and filmed each other doing crazy stuff and drone shots and, you know, and just got beautiful footage. And from there, that's what ignited our working relationship as well. So it's definitely an exercise the whole time, I find.
Explore.
Yeah, it's exploration for sure.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed listening to people's stories because it made me kind of connect with them, you know. it's like you understand their perspective because you've gone through something similar. And that was why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to see the perspective of others. I wanted to, connect with them in some way or the other. I started drawing from when I was about 7 years old, and it stuck with me ever since then. Because growing up, I watched a lot of fictional content. I started off with Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, and I just remember how crazy it was seeing all the lightsabers and fights and space and everything. And from there, I started to consume more fictional content. So that includes Marvel, DC, looking at their comic books, watching their movies, playing games of different kinds on the PlayStation. And it got to a point where I started asking myself, what if I made something of my own? What if I was able to create things the same way I see other people create things and put this on TV or in video games? My creative process changes from time to time, and there's so many things that could influence how I want to do things. Like it could be it really depends on my mood. It depends on what I'm watching at the time. It depends on what I'm browsing on. I get inspiration from so many things, from movies, games, anime, TV shows. And after watching these things, I kind of ask myself, like, okay, how can I get this idea out there? And I've usually done this in 3 major ways. My pencil drawings, they're literally what got me into art. Like I've used pencil for so long, and some of my favorite drawings have been done with pencil. And whenever I'm trying to challenge myself a bit more, that's when I use a pen, because I just love how sharp my drawings look with pens, with the colors, with the different shading techniques, and just mimicking that vibrancy that I got while watching or looking at something. And then whenever I feel very ambitious, I go towards my sketchpad. My digital sketchpad has allowed me to create some of my best work ever. And I'm still improving. I'm still working on myself to continue making things better than I did in the past. And I just, like, there's so much I'm still looking forward to when it comes to this whole artistic journey.
Yeah, definitely, and especially in this age of like social media where everything is so in your face, depending on how you structure your social media and how you interact with it. But yeah, it's so easy to think that your art is not valued, since there's so many people putting out music. For example, myself putting out music and doing all these things, so you kind of have to guard your mind in a way and just say that your art is valued regardless. But yeah, sometimes I do look at other artists and I'm like, oh, maybe I should be posting this way, maybe I should be posting this, or maybe I shouldn't be posting this, maybe I should be sharing more of my behind the scene process. Like, it gets a lot. It's like, if you try to, and especially with algorithms now, it's like what works, and it's like at the end of the day, like, to have a peace of mind, you have to just do what feels right for yourself. But yeah, I definitely have those moments a lot, where I'm like, am I sharing the right thing? Am I working with the right people? Am I posting enough? Or yeah, definitely.
Well, the advice I would give to people that are getting into filmmaking or want to be part of that world is to know that you got to work together with other people. You got to put your ego aside, and you have to realize that a vision can only be realized is if you share it with others and you work together with others. I've seen a lot of people fail because they take it all for themselves, or they try to, and then it just ends up being put on a shelf somewhere or never created, because it is a collaborative effort. It is like a dance of creatives together to create something amazing. So that's my biggest advice, is just find your entourage of people and know who you work well with that falls along that line, and stick with them and learn together, and just up your level all the time as a group.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Collaboration is key. I would say that there's a lot of, if you're a solo filmmaker that writes, shoots, directs, edits, and does all these things, like that's great, but you have to consider, how are you going to collaborate with other people, right? Like how does that, where would you like to fit? Like if you were to collaborate with other people, like what can you provide to people and be like a piece in their machine, right? So, you know, learning to do it on your own is amazing, because then you understand everything, but then learning how to be like a piece in the machine and help other people, like those two things will help you have a full understanding and be able to work properly in a team. Because it was hard for me, like I'm not gonna lie, it's hard, right? When you do everything yourself, to snap out of that. So you kind of have to just say, okay, maybe I'll step back. I really like lighting and I've got some lights. I think, you know, I'll do lighting for you guys. I'll handle all the lighting and listen to your direction, and because I'm a director too, so I can understand what you want and help you achieve that through lighting. So it's like, just because you're lighting stuff doesn't mean you're not using your directing and your creative skills. You have to use them. And when everybody is acting like a director in their own like field, then it's like, you're making such good stuff at that point, I feel like.
Yeah.
But everyone takes ownership, right? Just like share the idea, and yeah, just be open to suggestions. I mean, frick, yeah, like I get people have like amazing ideas, and sometimes, you know, someone will go, oh my God, what if we did this? And you might be like, no, like that's not it. But you just think about it, because sometimes, you know, like if you did something with everyone's greatest ideas put together into one piece, like you're going to come up with something that's like far greater than, you know, micromanaging and trying to, yeah, just do it all yourself. So collaborate.